Hi, my name is Efe, and today I'll be reviewing your manga illustrations and then offering my feedback. This is the very first episode of this series, so you can expect the format to change a little bit over time. While going through social media, I came across two pieces that I wanted to share my thoughts on, as well as one submission that we received last week. If you would like to have your manga, illustrations, or scripts reviewed by us, then go to themangadiet.com and fill out this short critiques form. By clicking yes on this option, you can even be featured in a video like this. Now, without further ado, let's review some manga.
First person we got here is Tix. They were the first person to submit a request to us using our critiques form, and this is their social media, so check it out. But the thing that they could use the most from what they've sent to us is fixing their proportions, okay? So what do I mean by proportions, right? You can see clearly when you look at the page, if you zoom it out even, right, it becomes more noticeable, but the arms are not the same length, okay? The thing about proportions is that if even one thing is wrong, it throws off the balance of the entire body. So that's why when you see the arms not being the same length, something in your brain goes off that this just doesn't look right. Even if your skills are not even up to the level that you want them to be at, you notice immediately something is wrong because you've seen so many human bodies before in your life, okay? So what would happen if we just fix the arms? So boom. As you can see, all I did was shorten the arms and make them the same length, and it already looks more proportionally accurate, okay? But there's even more that you can do to improve from this point. Typically, it's a good rule of thumb if you're a beginner, even if you're not a beginner, because people do this, even professionals, right? I do this, everyone does this, right? Is make sure that you measure before you begin drawing and adding details, okay? Now that just boils down to proportion guides, okay? So here's what a standard body proportion guide would look like. Kind of like this, okay? This is me measuring from the top of where their head is on Tix's head to the bottom of their feet, right? You can see that some things are misaligned. My shoulders are up here. Theirs are down there, okay? Wait, you guys actually can't see what I'm talking about. Their shoulders are here. Mine are up here. This is their crotch. Mine is right here. You can just see which one looks more proportionally accurate, okay? And I drew it as simple as possible because everyone might not be able to draw it if I drew the human body in this proportions, right? But everyone can see that there's an oval here, right? Circle, circle, line, triangle. Very easy to draw when it's depicted like this. So definitely make sure you try drawing proportion guides before you draw the finished artwork. Now, the interesting thing about Tix is that they actually submitted this piece as well in their portfolio, and this is actually a good showing of what good proportions look like, okay? And the difference between this piece and the previous one really is just the size of the artwork, right? Because if you draw big, right? Like let's say you have two circles, right? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna draw my stick figure family in here, blah, blah, blah. This is Jim. This is Bob. And this is Sally, bruh. It's like, can we actually tell who it is? No, we can't because it's so small. So basically what I'm saying is that if you give yourself more room to draw, you give yourself more room to put things in the right place, okay? Even if you are inexperienced. Ooh, I just gave that person a crotch. But give yourself more room when you're drawing. But this is a great showing. This is a great showing of their skill right here, okay? So what I recommended to them is that they focus more on drawing bigger illustrations, right? Because these are illustrations. This is not manga. It's different. The rules that apply to manga and the rules that apply to the illustrations for manga are completely different. When you are making illustrations, you want to focus on making it big so that you can understand what is going on, right? If this was the cover illustration for a manga, right, I would have no idea what was going on. Not because of the art ability, but because of how small it is and the lack of detail, okay? But if it's big like this could be called something like, man, you could call this, John, like, whoopsies. You could call this the princess's final wish or something, right? And all you have to do is call it something like this, pair it up with this expression, and all of a sudden you have a decent cover because the art is big and the proportions are correct. So I think if you're Tix watching this, or if you were someone else who was benefiting from this and you're like, oh, that's kind of similar to what I would probably do, focus on bigger pieces for illustrations. We need to see the artwork, and it gives you a lot of space, and you can see very clearly if there is an error. If you draw small, it's like, I gotta zoom in or whatever. But even if you zoom out of this John, you can still see their expression. And the other thing I mentioned to them is that they should definitely ink this, because I would have liked even this level of inking on this piece would have done it more justice. Now, the next piece I want to talk about is Devils Upon Us. Now, this is by, where is it? Rude New Mangaka 12, right? They are in 8th place on Manga Plus Creators this month, right? Now, why did I choose this one and nothing else? Because first of all, they're 8th place, and second of all, this stood out to me when I saw the thumbnail, Devils Upon Us, and I saw good composition. But there's a big problem with this that you might have already realized. FA, this is AI. Do not use AI in your artwork. Do not use AI. And FA, how can you tell this is AI? What if he just No. This is not what someone drew. And the reason I can prove that is because I wanted to see how does their actual artwork look like. You click on their manga, boom. It looks pretty different from the cover illustration, right? So why am I using this as an example? Because we all know that AI is bad for art, right? But there are some good things you can take away from this manga cover, okay? Which is why I brought it up. Because if we put the AI aside and act like this was a regular drawn face, like regular drawn clothes, not AI, there's actually some good things that you can take it from this when it comes to making illustrations. So let me show you. First things first, the composition I talked about. For manga illustrations, cover illustrations specifically, right? We need to know what the f are we reading, okay? What are we reading? What is the point of us being here? We need to know it at a glance because, as you know, right? I'll just show you. Look. Let's say you go on Manga Plus Creators, right? You're like, I want to just read something, right? We click on what we're interested in based off the thumbnail, okay? Just like with YouTube videos. If we see a nice looking thumbnail, we're like, okay, I'm interested, okay? Let me see if I can find that John again. New Manga Monthly Awards, 8. Look, just right there, right? I'm looking at all of these. Most interesting one I saw personally was this one. And I was like, oh, what's this? Clicked on it. This is why cover illustrations are important, okay? And the composition they used, which makes it so good, is this nice little triangle here. FA, what does this triangle actually mean? And what does composition even mean? Because I'm not gonna lie, for a long time, I had no idea how to define composition because everyone just talked about it and no one could really just be like, this is what composition is. But the easiest way to explain it, guys, is composition is just how well you place the elements so that your eyes can see everything on the screen, okay? Look at this. It starts from the top. Devils Upon Us. In this formation, we go down. We see this. We go this, and back up, right? We have looked at everything on the screen. So that's why when you see backgrounds, right? And it's like there's a whole bunch of elements in the background, but the foreground is not like standing out or anything. The composition's not that good because your eyes have to be led around the page to see all the elements. And it's just about how many of the elements it sees. That's how you can tell if the composition is good or not, okay? So once again, I'm gonna explain that a little bit slower this time because I like composition, you know, I get a little fired up talking about composition, but simple terms, the more stuff we can see on the page, the better the composition, okay? So as you can see, they put a devil here, a person here, devil here, in a formation like this. So when you look at one thing, you will end up looking at everything. There are some illustrations, right? Like, let's go to another one, right? There are some, like, let's look at this one, right? I just want to open it, right? It starts us off on the shoe here. This is the biggest element. We start here. We go up the shoe. Boom, 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 boom. We get here. We're here. Oh, which way am I going to go? Left, right? Bad composition. This is bad simply because the person who drew this, and this is no shade to them at all, This is just how I see composition, right? You have to be the one guiding the viewer, okay? You have to, we can't choose. We're not supposed to be able to choose which way do our eyes go next, left, right, up, down. No. When you look at this one, there's only one place to go in that circle. Does that make sense? You look at the title at the top, it stands out. Even if you scroll forward, back like this, the shapes that you see, triangle. Even if I erase this, look, you still see that. This is amazing composition, okay? So that's why I brought it up here, because I just wanted you to know that even though I do not like AI in art whatsoever, the way that the composition was laid out in this illustration is actually a masterclass. So it literally tells us exactly what to expect. Devils upon us. We see devils here. We see us, and they're upon us in perfect formation. This is good composition. Take this as an example, but do not use AI, please. Now the third piece is by an artist named Nim_art that I found on Pixiv, right? Found them in the daily rankings. They're number 26 when I was looking at their manga, right? And it stood out to me because of the expression in the eyes. Really, really powerful expression. I was like, let me see their illustrations. And this is the one that stood out to me, and I was like, I have something I need to share with you guys because you can use this to improve, okay? When you're making illustrations, right? And just manga in general, you can take this for pretty much manga as a whole. This is like a golden rule, okay? The viewer, the reader, the watcher, whatever you want to call them, they want to be immersed in your work, okay? They want to be immersed. Immersed means that when they're looking at your work, they don't want to be thinking about anything else, okay? So your job is to make it feel so real to them that they don't even think that it's fake, that it's an art piece, right? Not to the point of AI, realism. You don't have to do all that, right? But specifically, right, this person right here in this piece, right, is wearing a towel. They're wearing a towel, right? Okay, yeah, FA, I wear towels too. Do you wear towels in the shower, though? How many people wear towels in the shower? Okay, probably not that many, okay? And that's not saying that there's not anyone that wears towels in the shower, right? But this person is clearly using water, right? Water in the shampoo bottle. But them wearing the towel takes you out of the immersion because it's like, oh, I noticed that they're wearing a towel. They're not supposed to be doing that, right? That is what I'm talking about when it comes to immersion, is little things like that. Because if someone, when I looked at the comments of this piece, right? I'll show you. You go to the comments. Look, towel inside the shower. We need a more realistic depiction. Who turns on the shower with a towel on? But I wasn't the only one that saw it. I literally thought that, went down to the comments and saw that too, okay? That is not what you want in your pieces, okay? And it's not just this. Because if you think about it, right? Look at the water in the shampoo bottle, right? If someone looks at this piece for the first time, right? And they just don't even see this. It looks like they're squirting the shampoo into the hose. That doesn't look right, okay? What could they have done to make this better, FA? Well, maybe just some soap showing at the bottom of the thing here, right? To show that the bottle is being filled up with the water. But no, there's no interaction here that shows like, oh, there's a clash between the shampoo and the soap, because that's not what they were going for. I think they were just trying to show water going into a shampoo bottle. But even the hose, right? I don't know about y'all, but my hose, the water comes from the outside. Like these pieces, these outside pieces, not from the thing in the middle. It comes from all these and it sprays out. Okay? And this is why am I nitpicking all of this, right? FA, it's just an illustration, whatnot, right? They didn't even ask for this. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that if you have one thing off that is glaring, one thing that's glaringly strange about your piece, right? It starts with a towel, but as soon as someone turns on their critical brain with your piece, they can no longer look at it with admiration, okay? Specifically, now that I saw the towel, I'm more critical of the rest of the piece. I'm like, okay, is there anything else that's off? These fingers right here, where are the nails? You know, like, I'm thinking about little things that don't matter to the overall piece, right? But as the viewer, as the reader, right, These are the things that take you out of the immersion and put you in the critical thinking state. That is not the state that you want to be in when you look at these pieces. You want to be in a nice little calm little, oh my gosh, this is just so nice, you know? But now that I'm in this state, I'm like, oh wow, what is this expression? You know? It's probably just their style, right? But now I'm looking at it like, that kind of doesn't make sense. If the face is like this, right? Where's the rest of the mouth? There's not even a hint of more mouth over here. Even something as little as this little dot I put here makes the mouth look a little bit different, I feel like, right? But it's not there. I'm noticing these things because I got taken out of the immersion, okay? That is exactly why you can scroll on Instagram, scroll on TikTok, and then it's only when you notice something that is so off that you feel the need to make a comment, right? But that doesn't happen with every piece, because I know there were other pieces on the feed, right, that I was just like, I probably could say a couple of things about these, but nothing was glaring, right? And I didn't start nitpicking everything else. This is what happens when you turn to critical, and you do not want your viewers, your readers, to enter that critical state. So make sure that you can keep them immersed. So for this piece, I would have taken off the towel, first of all. No towel. I would have put stuff inside the shampoo bottle to show that water is actually going into the shampoo bottle, right? I would have added nails to this. I wouldn't have put little hatching marks on their fingers. That's just my style though. But I would have done more to keep the viewer immersed, because now when they notice the towel, which is the most glaring piece because it's the biggest part of this, the immersion goes away. And if they felt like they needed to use the towel, then this is not the right composition for it, because they are inside the shower and most people are not in the shower with towels on. So it literally, someone who comes in and hears you watching this video is probably like, what are you watching? Like, this dude's talking about a towel in the shower. Like, that's not the most weird thing in the world, right? But in terms of the viewer's expectation, when they see a piece, when you see someone in the shower with a hose, the next thought is they probably have a towel on. That's not the next thought, okay? So if this is you, the main thing I want you to take away is I think you need to do more to keep the viewers immersed. I think the best thing about your pieces are specifically the eyes. The expression in the eyes, the way that you can tell the direction they're facing in without the pupil even being there. That is very nice. Focus more on expression heavy pieces that maybe just focus on the face alone, or face in what is it called? I'm sorry. The face to the bust area, like this much. Focus on that. That is your strong suits. But you're not bad. I like the piece. I do like the piece. But I was taken out of the immersion of the piece, which is what would have made me like it even more. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Now to wrap up, first thing I want you guys to do is go check out Pero_Tix_X on Instagram, because they are the first person to submit, and they said they wanted to showcase their work and they were willing to let me review it for them. So if you want to support them, definitely go check out their Instagram. Secondly, if you would like your work reviewed by us, kind of like this video here, we actually do reviews from our website. We send you our personal, like basically a text wall feedback thing of what we think you should improve on, what we think you did well, our thoughts on your pieces, right? And then if you would like us to show it in a video, kind of like this video right here, then all you have to do is go to the critiques page, hit request critique, then put yes, you can share it on social media. Then let your social media handle be there so we can give you a shout out. This is an example of what a critique might look like when you get the email. Additionally, we have other tools inside of the shop page of the website where you can go to get other tools that help you improve your manga, such as some of our guides, ebook, manga copy packs. If you want to see what they look like, check out this video right here on screen. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.